Train Reed back with you. It has been a while and I apologize for that. Health things, life things, animal things, just the works. But I wanted to start back up again, and I have already done Oklahoma, I've done Texas. Like I said, I would do a couple from each state, and then I'll just randomly pick, or you guys can help me with ones that you want to be looked into. This one is the first of two for Utah, and I definitely had to work through a lot of things. There's so many different opinions and thoughts and facts that are very not uniform. So I got the best of what I thought was that needed to be told for this little girl. It is a little girl. It is a cold case. It has been around for 20 some odd years, and they still haven't figured out who did this. She was in kindergarten. Like, can you imagine? These kinds of things I don't understand. That's kind of why I watch these and kind of look into this stuff, is because I'm so confused by our psyches and the way that people think. Like, some of us don't think like that. Others think like that. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to start with today, and let's get it. This little girl's name is Rosie. She was born January 17th, 1989, and sadly she was killed on August 13th, 1995. Now, whenever I heard of this, I was like, what was I doing in 1995? Because I'm old enough to, I wasn't, too much younger than her. Let's see, 83, so 6 years. So yeah, but I'm in Oklahoma, and it was the Oklahoma City bombing that happened for us that year. So it just kind of took me back to that, like, time in my life. So anyway, the little girl, sorry, my nose is running. The little girl, she was taken from her room. So if you think about this, she's not there alone, of course. She's 6 years old. So the perpetrator was in that house with the rest of the family and was able to take that little girl. So what they had seen that had happened, or that was leading them in one direction, was the screen on her window. It was pried outward. They could see pry marks. They could see I think it was they saw, well, first the curtains were pulled down. There was a footprint, a shoe print on that, and another shoe print nearby. So to me, I mean, I'm not a police officer, I don't investigate stuff, but just knowing, like, the crime world just by watching and learning and growing in that, some of these start leading you to a direction of, okay, something happened to this little girl. She didn't just willingly walk away and just leave her family in the middle of the night. So sadly, the result of her being kidnapped, and we'll get to that here in a little bit, but she was AR'd and then murdered. And she was found in a canal that was off the Jordan River, not far from her apartment. And this takes place in Salt Lake City, Utah, because that's what state we're on right now. And she was buried in the Salt Lake City cemetery. Now, something that had happened, which had kind of piqued everybody's interest, is that a Barbie doll was left on her grave. And the family was just like, who did this, so that we can, communicate with you, any of those things. And they ended up just keeping it because no information had come out about it. So as she was stolen from her bedroom and thinking and art, and that's what she was thinking. The story. So what had happened was Rosie thought it was time her being born, her being with her family. Her mom, Marlene, was married 2 times. She left. She divorced in 1985. 7 blocks. Her first husband was Javier Alexander. She lived at 1616 Snow Queen Place. It's an apartment complex. So her teacher, from that marriage, all the kids started coming back in, realized she had Amelia, one of her older daughters. She didn't come back. Esmeralda. Like, what's going on? Which is what teachers are supposed to do. Keep track of that and be on top of things. But so bravo to her. So the teacher totally was born, called Robert. The teacher called Tapia, the mom. She was working at that time for the Rosie. It's a uniform company out of Salt Lake City. It's a real company. And 2 younger children, of course, Marlene, her mom, went home to find Rosie, and I remember when my son was in kindergarten, just cool, calm, collected. You didn't want them hurt. Nothing was wrong. You didn't want them finding out the hard way of things. So you tried to protect them. Of course, they were like, okay. She was like, Rosie, you can't do this. Like, you can't leave the school teacher before it's time. And of course, Martinez. It happens. I mean, I was thinking back. I was like, first week of school, I'm pretty sure, like, she was told that it was time for recess. And you just take, this was just stories somebody says, and it's like, you think that it's something else. Each kid has just something funny that they do. It's just even one of the funniest things is whenever I read this, telling a story, my son about how Rosie did the exact same thing. So he was transferring from elementary school. It's kind of funny to middle school. He's 16 years old. She thought, okay, but he. So I think it was time. He still had some classes left, and one of his teachers, I guess, when you're going from elementary to middle school, there's a difference. Your nerves are shot because you are in a situation that you're not used to. You just spent 4 years, 3 years, and the other school, and they tell you everything. She divorced in 1985. So her first husband was Javier Alexander. It was like a holiday. So when one of them said, okay, have a happy holiday, whatever holiday it was, marriage, he thought it was time to go home. Because in elementary school, they don't tell you that until the end of the day. Esmeralda. End of the day means you go home. So he was still in that mindset, that train of thought. Well, the one teacher that tells me, the last one, that's the one that, lets me know when it's time to go home. So it turned into this big ordeal, but I just thought it was so funny because the way that she explained it, it's literally the exact same thing my son did. And it just made me laugh. It was scary. Don't get me wrong. It was scary. It was not like 2 younger children, a boy and a girl, who were twins. I'm glad you did this. This was fun. But looking back and just kind of noticing my son was in kindergarten and just feeling bad for him a little bit, but also like he's got to learn. So hard way. Anyway, so you tried to protect them. So then. She attended Mountain View Elementary School. Her teacher